I'm Sarah Kuhn. I write a blog called INFJ Woman, and I host a podcast called The Quiet Ones. I'm on a mission to help you become the best version of yourself, to be wholly and unapologetically you, to be you. Every week on my Instagram stories, I take questions about INFJs or self-acceptance, self-love, anything that you want to ask me a question about. In this video, you're going to see a collection of random questions that are the best ones from this week. If you have a question that you'd like to ask me, you can submit it through the comments below this video, and I will answer it in a future video and link the video back to you so that you can see it. No, I think it's unfair to say that your personality type would cause borderline personality disorder. And because not every single INFJ has borderline personality disorder, in fact, not even most of us do, then I think that would be an unfair connection. Hi there! I'm so glad that it's helping. Yes, my podcast is on Spotify. It's on Apple and Google and Spreaker and YouTube too. Make sure you go check it out on YouTube and subscribe, please. There's a lot more about being an INFJ than just being able to predict the future, but that is one of the big things. And it's not like a psychic type of thing. It's more like looking at patterns and seeing what's going to happen. You just know. It's also tapping into your intuition. Yes, it's very difficult. It's difficult for me to organize my thoughts enough to put them out in the world. Journaling helps me a lot because when I write them down, I have to organize them. So that helps me. Insecurities are a form of fear, so the best thing that you can do is take action. Do the thing that you want to do the thing that scares you the most. Prove to yourself that you can do it, that your insecurities aren't true, because most of the time they're not. Everybody feels that way. You should start a blog. That's exactly what you should do. I feel the same way, and every single person who writes a blog feels that way. You are never going to get to a place where you feel like you know enough to share. But you do know enough to share as long as you know just a little bit more. The right one will see you as a woman, and maybe he'll see you as a counselor too, or maybe he won't even need counseling. I mean, everybody does at some point, but the right one will see you the way that you want to be seen. It's hard for me to process attention because I really don't like it that much either. I try to start with understanding though, and just think about why the other person is giving me attention. What is it that they need? And how can I help them? How can I be of service? I take action. When I have an idea, I take action on it. And if it's something that I'm procrastinating on a lot, I ask myself, why? Is there a reason? Is it something that I really just don't want to do? And is there a way that I can get around it? I could make a full-time living with my blog. The problem for me is that I live in Boston, which is one of the most expensive places in the United States. So if I lived anywhere else in the United States, I would be good. But because I live in an expensive place, then I'm still working. If you want to learn more about the INFJ personality type, make sure that you sign up for my weekly email newsletter. There's a link for it in the video description. I don't think either are true. Maybe you've just ran into some really bad people or some really not nice people. I wouldn't put all INFPs and all INTJs in a box. There are some good ones out there. I think you're talking about going after something that you want. I have really strong feelings about those kinds of things too. And sometimes it seems crazy and ridiculous, but then a lot of times they've actually happened. So I would just say keep working. One of the things that's helped me the most is to ask myself, is this real? Do I know that it's real 100%, whatever it is that I'm anxious about? Because a lot of times we're anxious about things that they're not even real, they're just in our heads. I suppose it can, because we can see things coming, we know the plan. Especially if you've ever written a book or written a movie or studied how people write them, then you kind of know what's coming. The best way that I've found to overcome all or nothing syndrome, because I have it too, it's to make small changes, to force yourself to do things little by little. And it's hard, it's uncomfortable, and it feels weird, but it works. So definitely try it. It becomes that way when the person is doing harm to you rather than good. If they're bringing you down, if they make you feel bad about yourself, then you shouldn't be around them anymore. It's time to cut ties. They should lift you up. I feel distance from a lot of people too, because they just don't understand. They don't take the time to understand people the way that we do. And that's okay. The best way to handle that is to show up with understanding for them and with empathy, because not everyone is like us. You have to focus forward. A lot of that, I know it sounds really harsh, but a lot of it is about choice. Do you want to live in the past? Do you want to stay in that pain, or do you want to move forward? I have things that have happened to me, and I choose to move forward. The best thing that you can do after a breakup is focus forward. And I know you feel like a failure because this thing didn't work out, but it takes two people. And maybe there's something better that's coming along. You have to believe that. You gotta hope. Oh my gosh, I've dealt with this so many times, and I'm so sorry that you have to deal with it. The best thing that you can do is figure out how to take care of yourself while you're there. Take little breaks, treat yourself, lots of self-care at home. I wouldn't say that it's normal as in you're supposed to have headaches every day. I think that you can have headaches every day because you're stressed. That's certainly a thing. It happens to me a lot when I get stressed. I would say take some time for self-care. People don't change personality types, so my guess is you can't just decide which one that you are. If you're focused on the future, you like to think about the future, you have a strong intuition, you know what's going on, you're an INFJ. If you're focused on the present, you're ISFJ. I definitely understand the guilt, but this is one of those places where you have to have a healthy level of selfishness and ask yourself, do you really want to be in this situation? And if the answer is no, then you need to do whatever you have to do to get out of it. Yeah, I think that any type can be a good match as long as they're mature enough. I think that INFJs can be really good friends too. I have a few INFJ friends, and it's nice to have somebody who understands you so well. The best way to overcome this is to challenge yourself. Start with saying, okay, I can't keep eye contact for 2 seconds, so I'm going to try 4 seconds. And to just try it and prove to yourself that you can do it, and then keep going longer and longer. Most all of them that I've met have been, and I really think that it comes from our fear of disappointing people, because perfectionism is a type of fear. It's just fear showing up in a different way in your life. And like I said, I think it comes from our fear of disappointment. Well, you can't rely on your friends to be able to determine your personality type, especially whether you're introverted or extroverted, because extroversion and introversion is how you recharge. It's not how you seem. That can be different when you have an anxiety disorder like I do. Anxiety, though, is usually irrational, and it comes up in weird places, whereas intuition is a lot more thought out. The difference between turbulent and assertive, assertive people are more calm or relaxed, free of worry. Turbulent types are more self-conscious, more perfectionists. I'm turbulent, definitely turbulent. Empathy starts with understanding. And even if they did something wrong, the best thing that you can do is try to understand where they're coming from. And when you're having understanding and empathy, that doesn't mean that you need to be around that person or that you need to spend your life with that person. It's just I don't know that it's normal for everyone, though I've felt that a lot. I love what Kathy Heller says. She says the opposite of depression is not happiness, it's purpose. So I would encourage you to find some purpose in your life. Find a way that you can help other people. It'll help you. I would challenge you to ask yourself, is this true? Do you always hate somebody else or this one person? And maybe try to find 3 examples of when you don't. And then think about how would you act if you didn't feel that way. This is something that a lot of INFJs struggle with, and it's because that our sensing function is one of the least developed. So what I do to help me is I write in my journal every single morning, and then I write down 3 things that I need to do that day and focus on those. It's very easy for us to absorb other people's feelings, whether they're good or bad. And the best thing that you can do is try to separate yourself from that, try to distance yourself from that, and really question whether or not it belongs to you. And if it doesn't, put it down. The best thing that you can do is to separate yourself from those people. And once you do that, you can tell if you don't feel that way, then obviously you're soaking up those emotions from somewhere else. And at that point, you can set it down because it doesn't belong to you. I don't generally seek out attention, especially not sympathy. But it really just depends on the situation that you're going through, and I would question why you're feeling that way. What's causing you to think that you need sympathy? Yes, that's true. That's one of the things that we do the best. We like to look at how everything is connected and see how it's all going to turn out. That's one of the ways that we can predict the future. I don't believe that your personality type ever changes. I think that a lot of times we try to impress the people that we're around, even if you've been married to them for a long time, and you pick up on their traits, so you mimic what they do, but I don't think your personality type. Yeah, it can certainly be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to it. And a lot of times we as INFJs tend to focus on negative things. So when we're used to being pessimistic, being happy can feel scary because it's not usual. You got to take action. You got to do the thing that you decide to do before you can talk yourself out of it. You should check out Mel Robbins' book. It's called The 5-Second Rule. She's all about making life changes in 5 seconds, and it's really completely awesome. I think that's something that all INFJs struggle with from time to time. I don't know exactly how to deal with it because I feel it too. I guess the best that I can tell you is that you're not alone. There are other people out there who feel like that, me included. Pay attention to their actions. Words are cheap, so if they're not backing up their words with their actions, then they're probably not people that you want in your life. When you lose interest in everything, I would say it's time to spend some time in self-care and to think about what you really want out of life. Maybe you've lost interest in everything because nothing that you're doing is what you really want to do. So think about what you really, really want. I like to daydream too, and I would have to ask you, is it a problem? Is it really a problem that you're daydreaming a lot? Do you really need to be 100% present all the time? Then it's certainly time for you to get out and do something else. A lot of times we feel guilt about moving on from friendships, but even though we feel that way, we really shouldn't pay that much attention to it because you're just bringing yourself down by staying with that person. You can take the free test on the Myers-Briggs organization website. You can also take a free test on 16personalities.com. I like that one because it gives you a percentage of each letter so you can tell where you fall. I think that we have a tendency to do that, yes, but I wouldn't use that as a crutch. I would use that as a challenge to say, let me find somebody who's not perfect and accept them the way that they are. Let me see if they're interesting, even if they're not perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you check out these other amazing videos that I have that are all about INFJs, INFJ traits, the INFJ personality, everything that you want to know about INFJs. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button as well so that you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching again, and we will see you again soon.